Hello, and welcome to the history of the Boston area movie theaters for 1920 to 1929. Here are the 1920 movie listings. (1920) The Owl Theatre in Lowell was renamed Rialto by the end of 1920. The Waldorf Theatre becomes the National Theatre again. 1921 The Suffolk Theatre opens in April. The St. George Theatre in Framingham opens on April 18. The Broadway Theatre in South Boston opens. The Broadway and Palace Theatres opens in Lawrence on Theatre Row. The People's Theatre in Maynard opens. The Castle Square becomes the Arlington Theatre. These theaters closed in 1921. 1922 On March 13, the Lowe State opens. The Jamaica Theatre in Jamaica Plains opens. The Pearson's Perfect Pictures in Somerville becomes the Winter Hill Theatre on July 31. The Fine Arts Theatre opens in October. The Globe Theatre opens on December 29. The Capitol Theatre in Allston opens. 1923 The Ball Square Theatre in Somerville opens. The Rialto Theatre in Lawrence is renamed Winter Garden. 1924 The Woburn Theatre in Woburn opens. In Roslindale, the Bellevue Community Theatre opens. 1925 In Somerville, the Strand Theatre opens on February 16. The Keith Albee Boston Theatre opens on October 5. The Academy of Music is closed on October 4 for the new Keith Memorial Theatre. The Metropolitan Theatre, the largest theatre in New England, opens on October 17 with 4,100 seats. In Arlington, the Capitol Theatre opens on November 25. The Regent Theatre in Quincy opens on December 24. The Magnet Theatre in Dorchester opens. The Norfolk Theatre opens in Norfolk Downs. The Unique Theatre became the Stewart Theatre. These theaters closed in 1925. 1926 In Everett, the Capitol Theatre opens on September 6. The University Theatre in Cambridge opens on November 7. The Morton Theatre opened in Dorchester. The Eggleston Theatre opens in Jamaica Plain. The Rivoli Theatre opens in Roxbury. The Orpheum Theatre in Foxborough opens. The Granada Theatre in Marlborough opens. The Kincaid Theatre in Quincy is renamed Quincy. 1927. The Capitol Theatre in Lowell opens on January 31st. The Capitol Theatre in Somerville opens on March 7th. The Eagleton Square Theatre in Roxbury opened. The Strand Theatre in Boston opens. The Durrell Hall in Cambridge starts to show movies. The Old Strand in Everett reopens as the Park Theatre. In Quincy, the Wollaston Theatre opens. The Hyde Park Theatre in Hyde Park opens. These theaters closed in 1927. 1928. The Riverside Theatre in Medford opens on January 2nd. The B.F. Keith Memorial Theatre opens on October 29. The Victory Theatre in Lawrence opens on November 28. Loew's Globe is sold to New England Theatres on December 28. In Lawrence, the Capitol Theatre opens. The Embassy Theatre in Waltham opens. The Community Theatre in Dedham opens. The Waldorf Theatre in Waltham opens. The B.F. New Theatre closes. 1929. The St. James is renamed Uptown on August 2nd as Publix buys it. The Natick Theatre in Natick opens in November. Also in November, the Egyptian Theatre in Brighton opens. On December 6th, the Colonial Theatre in Natick opens. The Oriental Theatre in Mattapan opens. In Newton, the Paramount Theatre opens. The Regent Theatre in Norfolk Downs opens. These theaters closed in 1929. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.